most of my efforts, most of my life have been for obvious stuff that nobody else seems to get. And like right now with the price of gas going up, yes, now is the time. 4 years ago with the mayor debates, I videotaped all of them and we asked them about sustainability, and one of the candidates said we couldn't afford it. Well, it's been 4 years. A lot of the payback is like 3 years. When you insulate a building, you get it back in 3 years. And so we'd be way ahead now if we had taken these steps 4 years ago. So let's do it now. One of the biggest issues to me is public transportation, reducing traffic, reducing the need to tear down homes for parking lots, reducing the need for another highway through the marsh, and all these other things that are not sustainable. They're really expensive parking garages that are being built right now on campus, and they've got another one planned for WTC. Wrong direction. By millions of dollars worth. That's the thing. We've got plenty of money for making improvements. There's no such thing as hard times. Has the sun stopped shining? No, we just invest now to save later. It's just really obvious, and so we should take these steps as soon as we can. There's a lot of stuff in the sustainability thing. A lot of them are kind of small issues that just distract from the bigger issue of investing up front, like insulating to save on fuel. It's obvious we're not doing it. The procedures should be eased so people can insulate their own homes and put in solar and such. So let's think about the future. Let's think about what kind of community we want to leave our children in the next generations. Thank you.
There's a lot of good ideas in the plan. I have to say, as a builder who builds energy efficient structures, I always have to look at the cost to benefit of that for my customers, because they're a limited budget. And I really do believe in energy efficient homes and the city being energy efficient, and but we can show our customers that they can, in the long run, can save money, and I think that's what we can do for the city. But we have to, with a limited budget, and we're working with the citizens' money, I think whatever we do, we have to make sure that there's a payback for what we do. And with most of these things, there will be. But we have to be careful with what we do. It's the citizens' money. Like you say, we can do replacements for vehicles that in the short term will save the city money. I think that's a great thing. Or making our buildings more energy efficient. I know there's a payback in that. So for the most part, it's all good. And I know there's even things in there for improving the neighborhoods. So that's always good too. So.
Let me give you folks an update on what the city of La Crosse has done. At the wastewater utility where I work, they've replaced all the fluorescent lights with high efficiency lamps. They're in the process of replacing incandescent lights at our lift stations with compact fluorescents. And we're changing out all our pumps using variable frequency drive or VFD high efficiency motors where we can use them. At City Hall, they went from 4-lamp T12 lights to T8 2-lamp lights. We got a $25,000 rebate from Focus on Energy. 2 years ago, they replaced all the pneumatic control valves, about 500 of them using digital electronics instead of air. And they had a $580,000 energy efficiency grant, and it had a 5-year payback. They have a new HVAC monitoring system using a computer, and they can monitor all parts of City Hall from one computer. The La Crosse Center and the airport have all had lighting updates. The Main Street parking ramp went to T5 cold weather bulbs and got a $14,000 rebate from Focus on Energy. The MSC garage where they plow snow, they put carbide edges on their plow blades. They installed one on a truck in 2009 and it's still on there. The normal blades wear out in about 3 plow sessions. Recapping the rear tires on trucks saves about $1,000 a truck over a 30,000 mile time frame. And they've done that. They use propane in all the police squads. They have just about the same power as gas. They get about 10 to 15 less miles per gallon, but the LP is half the price of the gas. There's 800 to 1,000 gallon fill station right on site. And there's only a couple weeks during the winter when it's really cold, the performance of LP isn't as good, so they use regular gas. But other than that, they use strictly propane. And in a 3-year period, 120,000 miles on a squad car, the city saves about $10,000 in fuel costs per squad. I'll plan on continuing these efforts, and the city is saving money and cutting costs and being more efficient.
Not that they need it, but I would like to applaud the efforts of the Green Sanctuary Committee and also the Sustainable Lacrosse Commission for their efforts putting all this together and implementing this plan. It's really impressive if you haven't had a chance to read it. Some things that I noticed paging through it, as far as I could tell, there was an energy efficiency audit done on city buildings by Michaels Engineering back in 1998. I don't know if that's been followed up on. Somebody can shake their head no if I'm wrong, but I think it's probably time to revisit that, because this Sustainability Commission has some great things, and I think it's time to check how we're doing on them. I know that transit is up 10% since 2004. We should double that by 2020. We should have that many more people riding the bus. We should increase our bike share as a part of our transportation from the measly 1 or 2% that it is right now, even to 3 or 5%. Focusing, I know this is a little bit about energy savings, but there's a lot we can do as far as sustainability around the city when it comes to bluffland protection, the way we build and maintain our cities, or our communities. They can be designed more sustainably. That usually has to do with how we move people, and moving away from the idea of moving cars and focus more on just moving people. We can also build buildings correctly, sustainably, the first time for about the same price as some sort of inorganic monstrosity. If you've ever read any of Frank Lloyd Wright's writings, you know how he feels about organic architecture. And for some reason, poorly efficient buildings are also ugly. I don't know.
I'd be happy to pass. And I want to point out the methane gas that Gunderson Clinic is using is coming from the landfill that I cited there. And it had what is it, almost 30 years ago, 30 years we've been burning off that methane gas, so it's just a problem in search of a solution, so it's long overdue. I mean, this is how to phrase it. Not all energy efficient projects pay back in 3 to 5 years. All the park banks, the buildings that I'm responsible for, have steel roofs on them, and the payback there is somewhere between 15 and 20 years, and we still do it. And I do enough good job selling steel roofs that Ledger on occasion sends me a little referral fee, because I can convince people this is a good idea. But that's the point. It's either a priority, and it's incremental, I think. And what I read says it really isn't incremental. You've got to do it in depth, but you've got to do it especially when the opportunity presents itself. A deep retrofit, completely overhauling City Hall, Mr. Feehan would have a point then, because that would be extraordinarily expensive and you'd be changing everything. But if you do it when the opportunity presents itself, you can get there, okay? And it isn't rocket science. I'm glad Craig Nestor isn't here tonight because he quote me, but I think I'm sure I have read that the Empire State Building is in the midst of an energy retrofit. It will be done this year, and the savings will be something like 38 or 40% in terms of energy. And the reason that sticks in my head was they were so good with everything that they did not have to replace the air conditioning. It still had life in it, but they saved $17 million by simply making the rest of the building more efficient. And so the pattern is there. We can follow it. Now, in the name of energy efficiency, Pat, can I close this door because there's a hell of a draft?